When I say that tires are indispensable in automobile sector, one of the India's quickly growing industries, I hope that you all will agree with me. No wonder tires are durable, shock proof, bear the vehicle's weight and lead it in the right direction. But do you know that due to countless uses and exceptional properties, India also import tires from other nations besides manufacturing them within the country? But wait, recently the government imposed a ban, or should I say some restrictions on the import of tires in India. Yes, you heard that right. Hey friends, welcome to Enterclimate, a leading environmental consultancy. I am Diksha Khetani and here I am back with an interesting video. Today I'll be discussing about permissions required from MoEF for the import of used tires in India. So stay tuned till the end and don't skip the video. So coming back to the ban where I was talking about, so yes, the government imposed a ban on the import of tires. However, allowing some exceptions, the government permitted the import, making the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, also known as MoEF&CC, the nodal authority. Thus, one must get permission from MoEF to import used tires in India. But before proceeding directly with the process, let us just quickly know about some basic things. To start with, let me shed some light on the nodal authority, that is the MoEF itself. MoEF is the nodal and licensing authority in India to grant authorization to import used tires. The ministry has delegated the responsibility of labeling, necessary packing, quality check, fulfilling duties and complying with occupiers law. Besides this, a person should get permission from the MoEF to import used tires in India. Currently, the matter of waste tires comes under the Hazardous and Waste Management and Transboundary Movement Rules 2016, Environment Protection Rules 1986, Central Pollution Control Board's Guidelines for Environmentally Sound Management of End-of-Life Vehicles 2016 and Standard Operating Procedures SOPs issued by the MoEF&CC. Now, you might be interested in knowing the market overview of the import of used tires in India. So, in 2020, the tyre market in India gathered 177 million units. However, around 3 lakh tons tires are imported annually to the country from across the globe. The import of used tires in India is mainly due to recycling and disposal. Thus, it won't be wrong to say that the Indian tyre market is expected to flourish at a CAGR, that is compound annual growth rate of 3.6% from 2022 to 2027. Now, let me ask you something. About how many prominent tyre manufacturers dominating the Indian tyre market have you heard of? Let me tell you about some. Renowned globally, the following names dominate the Indian tyre market: Bridgestone Corporation, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, Seat Limited, Apollo Tyres Limited, MRF Limited, JK Tyre and Industries Limited, and others. Now allow me to brief you about the ban, or should I say restrictions, imposed on the use of import tires in India. Before proceeding further, it is a good idea to know why India imports used tires. One of the reasons as they are used in the pyrolysis industry. Another reason is that these tires are a steady source of supply. But looking at the other side of the coin explains that importing used tires in India for use in the pyrolysis industry leads to pollution. This is also deteriorated the health of the workers. Considering the drawbacks and encouraging domestic companies under the mission like Atmanirbhar Bharat, the government of India imposed a ban or some restrictions on the import of tires in June 2020. Under this, firms need a restricted license and permission from MoEF to import used tires in India. This indicates that there can be only a limited import of tires when the government grants the license. Furthermore, a restriction was imposed on the import of tires for buses, cars, trucks, and motorcycles. Also, both the radial as well as tubeless tires were prohibited from the import. Additionally, since tires come under the restricted category, the importer would require a license or a permission from MoEF to import the used tires. Indeed, the ban created a sense of terror and dilemma among the tire manufacturers and importers. But to solve the problem, the ministry came up with some rules and regulations. Let us now discuss about the same. So, the guidelines stipulated by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for the import of used tires states that number 1. For a tire import license, traders must submit an undertaking stating that they will only buy those tire sizes that are not made locally. Failing to do so, they will be penalized. Number 2. The importer or exporter must apply for certification with MoEF in a particular format. This is done for exporting, importing recyclable hazardous waste to use as raw materials. Furthermore, it is also ensured that the materials allowed must be fully insured for any accidental occurrence and transit. This must accompany by details of its cleanup operation and the sufficient facility to handle imported hazardous waste in the form of raw materials. Number 3. The Director General of Foreign Trade (DGFT) seeks to undertake from the importers. Also, they have instructed them to provide records for the past 3 years. Only 40% of their average trade volume in the past is allowed. Number 4. To obtain permission from the MoEF to import used tires, one must comply with the hazardous and other waste management and transboundary movement rules 2016. Number 5. Besides custom brokers, importers, shipping lines, agents, CFS custodians, terminal operators, logistics service providers, and all other stakeholders must also comply with these rules. Number 6. Classifiable under CTH 4004 pairings, waste and rubber scrap except the hard rubber and granules or powders derived therefrom are restricted goods. Thus, these need NOC, that is no objection certificate, from MoEF and the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. However, the import of used rubber tubes cut in 2 pieces and the import of used tires with one cut in bead wire is free. It must be noted that suggestion for the export or import of restricted items like used tire is considered periodically by Exim Facilitation Committee of DGFT, but the decision to allow or otherwise are taken with the consent of the concerned ministry. Number 7. The waste under Part B of Schedule 3 of the rules are prohibited and cannot be imported without a license from the DGFT and permission from MoEF. Number 8. Obtaining permission from the ministry to import used tires in India mandates complying with many other rules. The list of rules further states that Para 2.31 of the Foreign Trade Policy has provisions for importing second-hand goods. According to the para, all second-hand goods other than the capital goods are banned for import and are only importable against authorization. It must again be noted that upon failing to comply with the conditions above, The importers of the used tires abandon the consignments. This results in the collection of several containers of used tires, posing a severe environmental threat. Number 9. To ensure that India doesn't become a dumping ground for hazardous waste, instructions are being given to all the shipping agents lines under sub-regulation 2 of regulation 7 of handling of cargo in customs areas regulations 2009. This ensures that the consignments should be imported to India only if the consignor or consignee submits the requisite permission from DGFT and the ministry before loading the said goods on the ship. Number 10. Failing to comply with the guidelines and abandoning the consignment will call for suitable action against shipping agents or lines. Next, in the upcoming section, I'll be talking about the complete process to get MoEF permission for the import of used tires in India. Step 1. The applicant must submit an online application along with the necessary documents at the official website of MoEF&CC. Number 2. The ministry's expert committee will review the application and the attached documents. If any document is missing, it is informed by the EC. Step 3. The EC creates a batch and accordingly sends a notification for a virtual meeting with the applicant. The applicants are informed about the meeting via an email. Step 4. Upon verifying the information, the EC may issue an order for a physical or virtual inspection of the unit's premises. Step 5. The EC instructs the Central Pollution Control Board to conduct an inspection. The CPCB further delegates this responsibility to State Pollution Control Board. Step 6. Once the SPCB submits the inspection report to the CPCB, the board forwards it to the MoEF&CC. After this, the certificate for import of used tires is issued. Now let me tell you about the documents and the permissions required from MoEF for import of used tires. The list includes PAN card of the authorized person, PAN card of the establishment, AOA, MOA, agreement deed, CTE, CTO, IEC, GST, authorization of the unit. Now coming up next is the complete details about the some documents that are mandated to facilitate the import of used tires. So listen carefully. Number 1. Consent to operate. The Air and Water Prevention Acts mandate that importers get a CTO once the industry is instituted and is ready to operate. CTO is issued by SPCB and is valid for 5 years for the red category industry having highest pollution index. Also, it is valid for 10 years for the orange category industry having a considerable PI. CTO has a validity of 15 years for the green category industry with low PI. Number 2. Consent to establish. CTE is needed to be obtained before setting up any plant, industry or process. This consent is the primary clearance. Next is the NOC from MoEF. The no objection certificate is again mandatory to get permission from the MoEF to import used tires in India. So now coming to the end of the video, it is good to be understood that according to the experts, while a ban on the import of used tires in India was an outcome of the economic turmoil due to the recession, it doesn't seem sustainable in the long term. Hopefully, the government will revoke it or introduce measures like the one obtaining permission from MoEF to import used tires in India, thereby benefiting the country's GDP and the Indian tyre market in many ways. So this was all about how to obtain permission from MoEF to import used tires. I hope I was able to deliver the topic well. If you found the video interesting, don't forget to like it and share it. Do drop your comments to help us know your feedback on the topic. Also, do subscribe our channel for knowing about more such informative content. In case of any queries, feel free to reach us by contacting on the details being shown on your screens below. See you soon in the next video. Thank you.